Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to our Tuesday edition of our show. I'm your host, Joe Grotto. Hope you all had a wonderful, relaxing weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Once again, hope you had a wonderful day on Sunday, celebrating all that you have done and continue to do to foster the positive growth of your sons. We thank you. I want to give a belated birthday shout out to my grandma. Celebrated her birthday this past Saturday, so happy birthday. I know she is tuning in to this edition of A's Day, as all of them, as we appreciate her support, just like all of you out there in the lovely audience. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd. We've got a good show for you. We have a 4-game series to recap as the Angels and A's went head-to-head this past weekend at Sutter Health Park. When all was said and done, the 4-game series ended in a 2-2 split. We'll be sure to recap how it all went down, hand out our 3-star performers, and give our thoughts. From there, we are going to begin on a highlight of a strong player performance that has been going on for several weeks now, as we take an inside look into just how good A's outfielder Zack Gelof has truly been in the midst of his 24-game hitting streak. In some transactional moves, Matt Krook and Joey Meneses are called up from AAA Las Vegas. We'll discuss what roles they may serve on the Major League club. And in correspondence, A's ace right-handed pitcher Luis Severino was moved to the 60-day injured list. We'll discuss what that means as well in terms of the timeline of his injury recovery. And then before we get on out of here and prepare to enjoy a new series set to begin later this evening, we are going to preview the San Francisco Giants series, which is set to kick off the first game of 3 tonight, 6:45 p.m. at Oracle Park in San Francisco. Should be a good series to preview in terms of what I feel should be a successful start to the week for the green and gold. Got a good show for you. Let's get to it. Holy Toledo. Let's go A's. All right there, A's Day fans. Thank you so much again for tuning in to our newest edition of A's Day to hear our thoughts on everything athletics baseball. Without further ado, let's jump into it so that we make sure we have plenty of time to prep for first pitch tonight in San Francisco. But before we move ahead, we got to take a few steps back to paint the full picture of how we got to where we are today. Let's head back to Thursday night in West Sacramento, kicking off the first of 4 with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, as we were treated to a pitching matchup of Ryan Johnson going for the Angels, going up against A's left-handed pitcher Gage Jump. All the offense in this one was scored in the first and by the good guys. The A's kicked off the bottom of the first in a big way. Shea Langoliers, or better known as Bangoliers, made our home run prediction come true once again, as he blasted a 3-run home run to center, his 19th on the year, as it's now 3-0 A's, 3 batters into the bottom half of this one. Next batter up, the A's go back-to-back. Tyler Soderstrom smashed a solo home run himself, his 13th on the year, as it's now 4-0. Later in the inning, Henry Bolte would complete the 5-run first inning, bringing one in via the sac fly. After 1 inning of play, it's 5-0 A's. From there, Gage Jump would go to work with plenty of run support and perhaps putting together his best start of his young Major League career. Jump in this one, he went 7 innings, allowed only 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks. Like we mentioned, all the offense for the game was scored in that first frame. For the A's, it went Jump to Barnett to Harris to reserve the shutout. Ball game over, A's win and tie game 1 against the Angels, 5-0. So clap it up. Gage Jump, absolutely brilliant stuff. He is pitching like a man well beyond his years. You would not even think by looking at him he is someone that is entering the second month of his major league career. He looks like someone that is going through another circuit of a season with what has helped him be successful at all levels. Just another professional season, going about his business. It seems like he's getting stronger with each performance, and he's learning. And his secondary stuff in this one was absolutely nasty. Diving late, really relying a lot on those secondaries to put batters away on 2 strikes, and he was efficient with it. He was perhaps nibbling a little bit early, but then really, once he got into the third inning on, he was really working his way into a groove. And it was an absolute pinnacle of pitching prowess. It's exactly what you want from your starter. After your offense puts up a crooked number to kick off the game, you go out there and you keep putting up zeros, especially that next inning after your offense has that big explosion. It's important in that second inning right away to put up a zero, and that's what Gage Jump did. And that's all he did tonight, was put up zeros. It was an absolute delight to watch, and it's really certainly right now, I know he's contributing and helping this team win games at the current moment, but you're also getting the opportunity to peer into the future, because Gage Jump he's only going to get better from here. He's 23 years old. He's only made a handful of starts in the major leagues, and he's already proven that he belongs at a major league rotation, that he gives the team an opportunity to win every time he takes the ball every 5th day. He's really following in stride with JT Ginn, but he's really taken it to another level right now in this short sample size. Now, let's see how long Jump will continue to be able to keep this up, because as the season rolls along, there is going to be more film out there of Gage Jump for other hitters to be able to study, to be able to recognize any pitch sequencing or patterns that may have developed from Jump's success, that now Jump is going to have to perhaps make some adjustments along the way to not falling into that trap of becoming too predictable, because these are professional hitters, and after a while, they're going to have some good days as well, no matter how good you are. All the best of the best Hall of Famers to the worst and everyone in between. Everyone's had great days on the mound, but everyone's also had bad. But Gage Jump, his bad time on the mound was his first start where you go 4 runs in 5 innings. Since then, it's been nothing but quality starts. Absolutely brilliant stuff, setting the tone in this series, going a 7 solid in this one, and really alleviating some of that pressure off of the bullpen, not having to continuously rely on the 5 and fly guys, eating into your bullpen arms on a nightly basis. It's just very nice and refreshing to kind of take a step back in time where you see a guy engage Jump that does not want to come out of the ball game. He wants to go as deep as he can. And in fact, it seems like he has that mentality that he wishes he can go 9 every time out. And if it wasn't for pitch count, he absolutely would have had the opportunity tonight. So great first inning explosion in this one as well, setting the tone for this game. First game of the series is one where the A's have struggled mightily this year, but it's good in this one that they came out with a purpose and looking to set the tone in the series. A longer one, 4 gamers, even though you are at home, those are hard to win, but a good way to secure those usually is by securing game 1. So they get off to a good start, nice convincing win to start the 4-game set on a strong note. Let's now flip it to Friday night to see if they can keep the good times going. Is game 2, we featured a matchup of Jose Soriano going for the Angels, going up against A's left-hander Jeffrey Springs. In the second of this one, the A's would kick off the scoring once again. Lawrence Butler, the Law Dog, delivers, leaving the yard via a solo home run, his 5th of the year, as the A's grab an early 1-0 lead. In the third, the A's offense would get going against Soriano. Shea Langoliers ripped an RBI double. Jacob Wilson followed with an RBI double of his own, and Carlos Cortez had an RBI groundout to complete the 3-run inning, and now it's 4-0 A's after 3. However, all of a sudden, we would hit the 4th inning, and the Angels offense hit the switch and would break out in a big way against Springs. Christian Moore drove in a run via a sac fly. Denzer Guzman smashed a 2-run home run, remember that name. Jose Siri smashed a 3-run home run, ending Springs' day. Springs would only last 3 2/3 and in this one, allowing 4 hits, 6 runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks. Against now A's reliever Justin Sterner, Zach Neto would add a solo home run of his own to complete the 7-run fourth inning as the Angels now have a 7-4 lead. In the fifth, the Angels would add more on via a 3-run home run by Angels catcher Logan O'Hoppe as it's now 10-4 Angels. In the sixth, now on is Jose Suarez, the former Halo, and Nolan Schanuel welcomed him back, joining in on the Halo home run party as he smashed a solo home run as it's now 11-4 Angels. In the bottom of that inning, the A's tried to chip away. Zack Gelof delivered an RBI single to cut the deficit to 11-5. In the seventh, the A's would get a little closer thanks to a 2-run home run by Jacob Wilson, his 4th of the year as it's now an 11-7 game. On to the 8th we go. The A's, they're starting to taste the comeback now. Max Muncy smashes a 2-run home run of his own, his 5th of the year, as we have a ball game brewing late in West Sacramento as it's now 11-9. To the 9th we go. 1 on and 2 out in the bottom half. Up steps Joe Anaheim. Do they have a rally in their bones? You betcha. Joe Anaheim hits a high drive deep to right field into the West Sacramento night. She is gone. His 6th homer of the year. A 2-run blast ties this game 11-11 as we've got a brand new ball game in the nick of time. Free baseball would be had as we head to the 10th. Elvis Alvarado would pitch a clean frame, keeping the Angels off the board in the top of the 10th, giving the home team an opportunity to walk things off in the bottom half. On is Kirby Yates trying to put up a 0 to send it to the 11th for the Angels. Thankfully for the A's, he was unsuccessful. With the automatic runner on second, Henry Bote walked and Zack Gelof got hit by a pitch up and in to set the stage for the big Amish Nick Kurtz. Bases loaded, 1 out, tie game, and an opportunity to win it. He showed great plate discipline in his at-bat, ending up drawing a bases-loaded walk, bringing home the game-winning run. For the A's in this one, it went Springs to Sterner to Suarez to Barlow to Alvarado. Ball game over. A's walked this way, coming back from down 7 in the 6th, walking it off and winning this one 12-11 in 10 innings. The A's are now up 2-0 in the series to this point. So, on a quick low point, Jeffrey Springs, he's just marred in the midst of struggles. And to me, it really is, I really keyed in on his start a little bit more. It's location. He's not having an inability to throw strikes, although he did walk 4 batters in this one. But over this recent, month and a half struggle, it seems like now for Springs, what I'm noticing is that he has a good start to innings and a good start to at-bats. But when he needs to have that put-away pitch or get that put-away out, I'm noticing a lot of teams are having these back-breaking moments with 2 strikes or with 2 outs, where Jeffrey Springs perhaps catches a little bit too much to the strike zone and the opposition is putting together good quality barreled contact. A couple of home runs in this one were of that instance. One was on that hanging breaking ball. And it's just really tough to see, especially with how things started this season with Jeffrey Springs, where he was turning out to be one of the more reliable arms. He is really marred in the struggle. And, I was hoping this was a start that he would be able to start finding his way out of it. Because the Angels, yes, they are a team that can slug it, but they typically don't have a consistent focus on making contact. But in this one, they made a lot of contact on Springs. As, he allowed 8 base runners in his short outing where he didn't even get through the 4th. And it's really a cause for concern. Now, and we'll get to the Luis Severino injury later, but that's one concern. It seems like we're not going to have his services for even more of an extended period of time. And recently just got back Aaron Savali, who wasn't crisp in his last start, but perhaps just knocking off a bit of rust. Hopefully he'll have a good turnaround. He's actually getting the ball tonight in San Francisco, a team in the Giants that is a very contact-friendly team, but isn't a long ball or power threat, and typically is a very aggressive team. So Savali could use that to his strength. We'll get to that point a little bit in the back half of today's show. But what this rotation needs is a little bit of that veteran stability. And right now it's not there. Like I said, I think with how Savali had pitched for the majority of the season, he can get back there now that any of the injury concerns seem cleaned up. Now he's got to get his feet back under him and just knock off some of that rust. But I think in time you'll have some of that stability return from Savali, and perhaps it starts tonight. But without Severino's services, now you're going with a youth movement, which, JT Ginn perhaps has been your most consistent starter from pole to pole thus far. But obviously what Gage Jump has been doing has been dominant stuff in his own right. And then Jack Perkins has kind of been up and down in his time through his times in the rotation. To me personally, I think he may serve a better purpose in that swingman role where he gets through a lineup one time before that second time around when they make those adjustments and seem to have more success off of him. But that's a story for another time. Just makes me believe that this team is, right there in the thick of the AL West division race, that I think they may be one of those teams at the deadline out there looking for veteran additions to this rotation. Because I do think that is going to be something that is crucial for this lineup that seems to be really humming along. But they're going to need to go out there and get some experience to kind of show this young group the way on how to stay in and be at the top of the mountain when those August and September games are over and done with. So it's been a concern with Springs for a while now, and really curious to see what they do his next time around. I know something where they were trying to get him on the right track. His starts, he would piggyback after an opener would get the start, so perhaps they make that adjustment. But time will tell there. We'll let you know if any developments do occur from there. But really impressive. Let's get to the fun stuff now in this one because, from the sounds of it, from Springs' performance, you would think that they would lose. They lost this game. Well, it really felt that way through 6 innings when they were down 11-4. That it just kind of seemed like one of those nights. Nothing was going their way. They couldn't get much going offensively after that early outburst. And it didn't seem like that the A's pitching was going to be able to keep this Angels offense off the board. But kudos to the A's offense to really get humming late there. They had 3 straight innings with 2-run home runs, and that is connecting with damage. If in those situations the A's hit 3 solo home runs, that's not going to put any stress on that opposition. But when you're hitting the long ball with runners on base, as you can see, when you're stacking those, that's 6 runs in those 3 occurrences that really put pressure on the Angels and allowed the A's every opportunity to keep clawing their way back into this game until they tied it all and came all the way back in the 9th, eventually winning it in the 10th. But really cool moments there all throughout, and I love the fight in this team. And I love that they do not quit, and you can really feel that belief really start a little bit kind of that comeback belief was kindling a little bit after that Jacob Wilson 2-run home run to bring it within 4. But then when Max Muncy goes out and hits a 2-run home run of his own the next inning, you can feel the energy in the building shift, and you can see the energy really be uplifted in that A's dugout. They had full belief. They knew they were going to get one more crack at it, and they felt like they were going to go down with their A effort. And yes, this was their A effort late. It wasn't as a collective in terms of the longevity of the game, but this team came through in the nick of time, and another big moment from Jonah Heim, who delivers, and what a pickup he has been, hitting his 6th home run of the year, his 2nd big clutch home run in an A's uniform this season. He has been a godsend as the number 2 catcher and is really carving out a secure role behind Langoliers for the foreseeable future. So really good on Heim to see him swinging it like he did back in his earlier Texas days. It's been a wonderful sight to see. Scary moment in this one, Zack Gelof getting hit by the pitch up and in, but he did appear to escape unharmed. He does end up getting the night off in the next game. We'll get to that in a minute, just as a precaution, but it didn't seem like anything for long-term concern, which is great news. Great discipline in that at-bat by Kurtz in that situation. He is in that at-bat in a 3-1 count, which is typically a very hitter-friendly count, typically a fastball count, and Kurtz could have tried to do a little bit too much and go chasing to try to hit the ball 500 feet. He didn't. He took the team approach. He took the ball that was well out of the strike zone to help to secure the victory for the team. So love the discipline from Kurtz. He continues to rack up those walks at a high volume, and it was an epic comeback. What a comeback it was indeed. This is a season and team-defining victory. Now, I know, was it against the Angels, one of the league's worst? Yes. But like I've mentioned on previous episodes, it doesn't matter who you play. All 30 of these teams have professional hitters, pitchers, players, coaches. Anyone can beat anyone on any given night. Now, the teams that are left standing at the end for the postseason dance and then the eventual World Series champions are the ones that are more consistently successful and can string together victories more than some other teams. But all in between that, even the teams that win divisions and go on to the World Series typically are going to lose 62 at least 62, but perhaps going to lose 70, 75 games in their own right as well. So it's not going to be perfect every night, and you're going to lose ball games. That's just the nature of the beast. It's a 162-game marathon for a reason. So to me, though, there are many qualities that you want to see out of a team. You want a team to go out there to find multiple ways to be able to win, to go out there and win on your strength with this A's team is when their offense is really going. That is their number one tool. It's their offense, and when it's humming as a collective, it's one of the most lethal in baseball. Now, they have also displayed ways early in the season and sprinkled in here now and again, being able to ride a strong pitching performance and their bullpen riding positive momentum, continuously putting up zeros as manager Mark Kotsay continues to go to guy after guy. We've seen this A's team cling and win 1-0 games, 3-2 games on the road. We've seen that. We've seen this team come from behind multiple times. As entering play tonight, they lead the league with 21 come-from-behind victories. So we know this team has that DNA in them, that this game is not over until that 27th out. They do it again in this one, and it's in impressive fashion. They were down by 7 runs in the 6th inning, and then they just kept chipping away. They didn't try to get it all back in one inning. They kept doing damage with runners on base. They kept cashing in, and they got just enough in the nick of time. So, great game. This was one of my favorite games of the season. Maybe my favorite. I'm not sure yet. It's definitely up there with this one and the Rooker walk-off against the Astros. And that wild one in Vegas with the Brewers is also in that discussion. Those would be my top 3 games. This one is one of those top 3. I'll probably give my favorite game of the season at year's end, but that's where my mindset is right now. What a game it was. What a comeback. And to me, finding this way to win, coming from behind, especially from a significant deficit, shows the character of your team. That you have the opportunity to come back in a moment's notice. You have the talent to get hot that quickly and be able to put it on an opponent like that. Really, it seems like stealing a victory, but really ripping the heart out of your opposition in that situation. And you would hope you would be able to continue on that momentum through the rest of the weekend. But with this come-from-behind victory in this 4-game set, at the minimum, the A's earned a series split. But they really set themselves with a great opportunity to win this 4-game series. So, they win Game 2 Friday night, 12-11 in 10 innings. Now heading into the weekend, the A's had an opportunity this past Saturday to take the 4-game series with a W. The Angels would be sending Wilbert Urania to the mound, going up against A's right-hander JT Ginn. This time, in this one, it would be the A's getting the offense going. In the second, Donovan Walton drove in a run via an RBI single, and Jose Siri would bring home another via the sac fly to give the Angels an early 2-0 lead. To the 6th we go. The Angels would get back-to-back singles with 1 out, bringing an end to Ginn's night. On would come Scott Barlow, and he could not, unfortunately, strand the inherited runners. The Angels would go on to connect on 3 straight hits, including a 2-run double by Zach Neto and a 2-run double by Nolan Schanuel, as the Angels would grow their lead to 6-0. Ginn's line would officially close, 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits allowed, 4 runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. In the 7th, the Angels would get one more via a solo home run from Denzer Guzman to grow the lead to 7-0. Urania and 3 Angels relievers would combine for the shutout in this one. Ball game over. Angels take Game 3 7-0, and now the Angels are up 2-1 in the series. So again, he wasn't his best in this one. He seemed to really run out of steam in that 6th inning, which led to those 2 inherited runs coming across. But again, it's a start where he gives the team an opportunity to win. It didn't really matter because the A's didn't put up anything in this one. Literally, they get shut out in this one. So Ginn could have thrown a 6-inning performance of 1-run baseball and still would have lost this ball game. But, the Angels get the offense started in this one, and they didn't look back. And they were really led by their strong starting pitching performance by Wilbert Urania, who continues to be a tough customer for the A's to try to figure out. He pitched 5 scoreless in this one before the Angels' bullpen was absolutely dominant. So Urania, he went the 5 innings, only allowed the 4 hits, didn't walk anybody, and allowed 6 strikeouts. And how about the Angels bullpen? They were money. They went 4 innings, only allowed 1 hit, no runs allowed, 2 walks, 7 Ks. They shut down this A's offense. There was nothing that the A's offense can do in this one. They were going to have to earn everything in this game, and their at-bats did not cash in. Offense went 5 for 32 in this one. Only the 2 walks generated against 13 strikeouts, and they went 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. It just felt like, which is kind of weird, because usually this happens to the team that's on the losing side of that type of game from the night before. So we just got done talking about the A's coming from behind. They had to come back from 7 runs down. They do it, and they go in extra innings. They win 12-11. You'd think, yes, that's exhausting. It's a long game. It ended quite late. But you think that kind of ending outcome and riding that positive momentum into the next day would favor the home team. That home team, the A's, they get to go home. They get to go rest in their beds. To get to go dream about what they just accomplished on the field as a collective. While the Angels, they're going back to the hotel. They're on the road. They're thinking about what just went down. They were in firm control of tying the series up. They had a 7-run lead, feeling absolutely deflated. Now, I understand it's a long season, and as professionals, you got to wash it. And I'm sure that next day, that's what the Angels did. They woke up with a new focus, a new perspective, because they came in and dominated this game from the start. Urania put this team on his back, and he said, we are not losing this ball game. He was not giving the A's anything, kept them off all balance, and then the Angels bullpen did not relent. They're absolutely dominant in the back end, but it seemed like the A's were emotionally spent from the night before, which is odd. Like I said, usually happens the other way, but that's just my perspective. I guess maybe it's draining, having to utilize all of that energy to have to dig yourself out of such a deep hole, so perhaps that was the case in this one. That's why we saw a lot of the emotional and physical fatigue that we saw. So there was no Zack Gelof in this one, like we mentioned a little bit a while ago. As a precaution, after he got hit up and in by a pitch, it did hit the brim of his helmet. I don't think it made contact with his head, which is good news, but I'm sure he was a bit shaken up from that. I just wanted to make sure that there were no lingering effects, because the head is such a sensitive place. Even the most deflection of contact could lead to something. So good news. It doesn't seem like Gelof was suffering from any lingering effects from that, because we'll get to him in a moment here. He was back in the lineup for Sunday's Game 4. So certainly Game 3, tough night at the ballpark, getting shut out after such an emotional roller coaster the night before. But nevertheless, they would have another opportunity to take the series and end the homestand on a strong note. Sunday, Game 4, we were treated to the matchup of Reed Detmers going for the Angels, going up against Jack Perkins. Things started off great in this one for the A's as the offense went to work right away in the bottom of the first against Detmers. Zack Gelof would lead off the game with a single to left, extending his hit streak to 24 games. We will have more on that a little later. The A's would load the bases with 2 more walks for Tyler Soderstrom. He would work a walk to bring home the game's first run. Joe Anaheim would deliver a sacrifice fly to drive home the A's second run. And then next up, in his first game being called up from AAA Las Vegas, Joey Meneses delivered an RBI single, and Henry Bolte would add on his own RBI single to cap a 4-run inning, growing the A's lead early to 4-0. In the second, however, the Angels would answer right back. Donovan Walton deposited a 3-run home run, as it's now a 4-3 game. To the fourth we go. Nick Kurtz singled to right, and Zack Gelof would come around to score on an Angels error, as it's now 5-3 A's. In the fifth, with 2 outs, Jose Siri would come home to score on a wild pitch by Jack Perkins, as it's now 5-4. Perkins would go on to get Joe Adell to strike out swinging and bring his day to a close. Perkins went 5 innings in this one, allowing 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. On to the 7th we go. The A's, at this moment, seem to have gotten their insurance knockout blow. The big Amish Nick Kurtz smashed a 2-run home run to center field, his 19th home run on the year, as it's now 7-4 A's. However, those Angels would not go away. On would come Hogan Harris out of the A's bullpen, and unfortunately, he would give up the big blow. Denzer Guzman, I told you to remember his name. His big series continued as he smashed a 3-run home run to center, and now we have a brand new ball game. It's 7-7. To the 9th we go. Game still tied at 7. On is Elvis Alvarado trying to keep this one tied. Unfortunately, he would not be able to. Zach Neto comes through in the clutch and launched a 2-run home run over the wall as the Angels now lead 9-7. To the bottom of the ninth we go. Could the A's come back again? They would not. They would go down in order against Angels closer Sam Bachman, coming up short in a game they once led 4-0. Ball game over. Angels take the fourth and final game of this series, 9-7, rallying back to win this one and rallying back over the weekend to win the final two to earn the series split. So, Jack Perkins, I thought he was better in this start as compared to some previously. He gets burned on the one mistaken location, which led to the 3-run home run. I think aside from that, he was pretty good. He had the strikeout stuff working. He racks up 8 Ks in this one. The walks are still a little bit of an issue with him not having that consistent confidence in attacking with 2 strikes, where he finds himself nibbling a little bit, trying to be a little bit too fine, letting the hitters back into the count, and then eventually losing some of them, surrendering free passes. So that's something that he's going to have to continue to work on, and that's something that a lot of young pitchers have to work on at this level. But there was a lot of encouraging signs that you saw Perkins looked a lot more comfortable in the role this time around. Unfortunately, he got burned in the big way with that 3-run homer, but aside from that, gave the A's again an opportunity to win this ball game. Offense went completely dormant. Now, they came out with a purpose, with a lot of reckless abandon in a great way, putting up that crooked number in the first. You would think it was the sign of things to come for the duration of the day. They put up that 4-run crooked number in the first, and then they went pretty quiet from there until that Nick Kurtz home run late. And that's been a problem that we've been seeing from time to time, that it seems like the A's are going to get a lot of their offense in one inning, and then the innings between that, there's a lot of inactivity, which allows your opposition to gather some of the momentum back in the ball game, perhaps let them chip back against the deficit, which we saw in this game from the Angels. What you got to do when you're an offensive collective, you got to keep that pedal to the metal and not rest on your laurels. Oh, we put up 4 in the first, now let's ride that to the series win. Now, you can't do that. You got to leave no doubt. 4-0, let's turn out to 6-0 the next inning. 6-0, let's get another one in the third, make it 7. And then let's get that 3-run home run in the fourth, fifth. Put that game away. Do not give any bit of optimism for that team. Take it away from them and go out there and earn a win. Don't rest on your laurels of what you've done. And in this one, the A's let a couple opportunities slip away. They let this game slip away, but they let the series slip away as well. You're up 4-0 in this one. And like I mentioned, it was something that was important that Gage Jump in his start Jack Perkins did not. Like I mentioned, Gage Jump start, where the A's had that 5-run first, Gage Jump came out in that second inning and put up a 0. In this one, Jack Perkins served up that 3-run home run. That's the difference. If you put up a 0 in that second inning, I think we're having a much different tone for the recap of this game and the series. That the A's, I really do feel like, possibly go on to win the series 3 out of 4 if the A's put up a 0 in that second inning. Putting up a 0 after having a crooked number inning allows you to let your offense go back to work, have all that momentum on your side, and continue to add upon it. So this was a disjointed effort in this one. The offense went cold, but the pitching didn't deliver at the opportune times as well. So a missed opportunity in this one. Thanks to the efforts of the A's early in the series, they earned a series split. But they had 2 opportunities at home to win one of those 2 against an Angels team that has been struggling. You win one of those 2, you win a series. These are the games, and I don't want to keep marking these down, but we had one in the Pirates series, now we're having another one here. These games that you're letting slip away, that you are in full control and have no business losing, some of them you're ending up losing. If you lose the American League West this year by 2-3 games, you're going to be kicking yourself. And I understand. We're keeping everything in perspective. We understand this is still a team that is learning to win and continuing to develop. We understand that, so we're taking it all with a grain of salt. There's going to be some great games, there's going to be some ugly ones, and there's going to be all the bunch in between. But as someone that is watching these games and seeing the talent on this roster, it's frustrating at times. And I think that's just the genuine reaction of someone that wants good things to happen for the team. You see the ability is there. You've seen some of these teams that the A's have beaten, some of these pitchers that this team has beaten, some of the complete performances that we've been treated to this year. I guess that's just the continuation of the maturation and development process of a team at the major league level, that they still need to find ways and learn to put up those efforts consistently more than not. And I think this team needs to learn how to consistently keep that pressure on the opposition and win these ball games that you get an early lead in. You can't be satisfied with how things have started, because if you don't finish, it doesn't matter. And that's what we saw in this series. There was a great start. Take the first two, an electrifying come from behind win in game two, a team-defining win. But you didn't finish. You didn't get the job done. This was a series you should have won in your building. And thankfully, it is still early. We're just approaching the halfway mark. And in fact, next weekend, you're going to get an opportunity again against this Angels team, but this time down in Southern California, to rack up some more American League West wins, because you see, and with this series, the A's now are 38-40, but they're only a game and a half behind the Seattle Mariners. So these American League West divisional games are going to really matter in the long run. So you're going to have to start racking up these wins against teams you should be beating. You should be beating the Angels. The Angels are not in a position to win at the current moment. You are a better team as them across the board for the most part. You got to take care of the business against these teams. The A's have fared well against teams above 500, which is great, but you got to take care of these teams that you're supposed to beat. You don't want to have to learn a tough lesson at the end of September where you have some of these games you let slip away. Like I've mentioned, if you're within 2-3 games of getting into the playoffs, well, you can start some of these games that we are absolutely going to circle back to at year's end, especially if this team narrowly misses the postseason this year. There's going to be plenty to discuss as to why. So hopefully they learn quickly from this one and not rest on your laurels. Keep the pedal to the metal, because now they have another team coming up starting tonight. They're heading the road, but not far away. I mean, they're only going down to San Francisco from Sacramento. You are better than that San Francisco Giants team. We're not even at the preview yet, but they should go out there and win that series at a minimum. We'll get to that in the back half of today's show. But this is a stretch of games that the A's need to rack up victories. Didn't do your job. Earning a series split at home in a 4-game set against a team that you're better than is not doing your job. Even if that was the result on the road, would not have been satisfied. There's certain teams that you got to go out there and take care of business against. The A's started off the weekend on a great fashion doing that, but they let this opportunity slip away. So, nevertheless, that's a wrap on the Angels series. Some great moments throughout. Ends in a disappointing fashion, but hopefully the A's can flip the script and start the road trip later tonight in San Francisco on a strong note. Tough not to win a series when you're up 2-0, but nevertheless, let them use it as fuel and a learning tool for better days ahead. Let's get to our 3 A-star performers from this past series against the Angels before we move along. So for our 3 stars, for our 3rd star, we're going to give it to left fielder Tyler Soderstrom. He went 5 for 13 in the series. He had a home run, 2 RBIs, a double, a hit by pitch, 3 walks, and 5 runs scored. For our 2nd star, we are going to give it to A's rookie left-handed pitcher Gage Jump, who completed a masterful performance in Game 1 of this series this past Thursday night. The best start of his young Major League career. Gage Jump, in this one, he earned the victory. He went 7 innings, only allowing the 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks, and racking up 7 strikeouts in the process. Absolutely dominating stuff. And for our 1st star performer, someone that always seems to find his way on our 3-star list. We're going to give it to the Big Amish, Nick Kurtz. He went 4 for 15 in the series with a homer, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 2 doubles, and of course had the walk-off walk in Game 2 of the series to complete the 7-run victory. That is a wrap on our 3 A's star performers from their series against the Angels. Let's move along and talk about an impressive A performance that has been going on for the last 3 weeks and counting, and perhaps has gone a little bit under the radar based on all of the stars in this A's lineup, but we're going to bring it to your attention in case you're not aware at the moment. It certainly takes a lot of athleticism to be able to play all over the diamond. The A's Zack Gelof meets that requirement. No matter where he is on defense, Gelof's contributions offensively have been quite welcome. He entered Monday's off day riding a 24-game hitting streak, making him one of 4 A's players in the expansion era since 1961 to reach that milestone, joining Jason Giambi, who had a 25-game streak in 1997, Mikel Tejada, who had a 24-game hitting streak in 2002, as did Carney Lansford, also a 24-game hitting streak back in 1984. Gelof started Sunday's game against the Angels at Sutter Health Park at second base, his 6th start this season at second, the only position he had played in the majors prior to the season. Gelof has seen most of his time this season at third base with 36 starts at the hot corner, but he's also started in center field with 9 starts there and 3 starts in right field. With that kind of versatility, it makes sense why Gelof brings both an outfielder's and infielder's glove with him anytime he takes part in fielding drills. He doesn't seem to mind at all. In 61 games this season, Gelof has a slash line of a .284 batting average, a .338 on base, and .500 slugging percentage with 11 home runs and 29 RBIs. After he hit .174 with a .502 OPS and 101 plate appearances, including 46 strikeouts during an injury-ravaged 2025, he has shown considerable improvement. Gelof retooled his swing during the offseason, leveling out his swing path and bringing his attack angle more in line with his first 2 MLB seasons. This year, his bat speed has soared up to an above-average 73.8 miles an hour, up from 72.1 miles an hour last year. That's big for a player who missed the first half of last season due to off-season hamate surgery, then dislocated his left shoulder in September. Gelof's season numbers are quite similar to his stats from his impressive 2023 debut, when he posted a .264 batting average, .337 on base, and .504 slugging line in 69 games, including 14 home runs and 14 stolen bases. This season, Gelof has 8 steals in 9 attempts and is playing above average defense overall. It's been quite the year for Gelof, and those who know him best aren't surprised one bit. During his 24-game hitting streak, his numbers have been as follows, leading him to being one of the key offensive catalysts for this A's offense that's been really humming. Over the course of his 24-game streak, he's hitting .362, which is 34 for 94, with 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, 19 runs scored, a .412 on base percentage, a .596 slugging percentage, 6 doubles, 6 walks, 2 stolen bases, and a .1.008 OPS. What an impressive turnaround it has been for Gelof. He has been one of the more consistent contributors in this A's lineup. He helps in a variety of ways defensively. He has been really keying in on hitting hard contact to all fields. It's been really refreshing to see all of that hard work and focus pay off. Zack Gelof seems to be such a great guy. We had the opportunity to talk with him leading up to their game against the Padres, and he was telling us a little bit about his improvement on his attack angle and the retooling of his swing. It's really paid off. He's someone that has been through the ringer. He has had to overcome many injury setbacks, but here he is now. He has built himself back up and is having such a strong 2026 season. We're rooting for him. Congrats on the strong start to the year, Gelof, that you've had so far. Looking forward to seeing you continue all of this success as you continue to put up, in my opinion, should be viewed as an all-star worthy campaign. Time will tell how much he can add to his stat line before the voting concludes. All right, let's get to some other A's housekeeping, some transactions that went down this past weekend. So the A's underwent a bit of a roster shakeup on Sunday. Before their series finale on Sunday against the Angels at Sutter Health Park, the A's called up first baseman outfielder Joey Meneses and left-handed pitcher Matt Krook from AAA Las Vegas, while optioning shortstop Alika Williams to AAA. To clear space on the 40-man roster, Scott Barlow was designated for assignment, and Luis Severino was transferred to the 60-day injured list. So there's a lot to unpack there. We'll start with Barlow. The A's targeted him this offseason in free agency, bringing the veteran reliever in on a one-year deal in hopes that he would figure into their late-inning formula. Through 36 appearances, however, Barlow was inconsistent with a 6.48 ERA. The struggles increased this month as he's allowed 15 earned runs in 6 1/3 innings over his last 8 games. The home road splits were a bit jarring for Barlow. He owned a 1.02 ERA in 17 appearances on the road, as opposed to a 12.64 ERA in 19 games at home, including 4 appearances at Las Vegas Ballpark that counted at as home games for the A's. Given his track record and success on the road, there is a strong chance the 9-year Major League veteran will get picked up by another big league club. Matt Krook, meanwhile, brings a 3.72 ERA in 25 appearances for AAA Las Vegas and will now give the A's 3 left-handers in their bullpen, joining Jose Suarez and Hogan Harris. Krook fired a scoreless inning of relief in Sunday's 9-7 loss to the Angels. Meneses signed a minor league deal with the A's this past offseason and earned his way up, crushing Pacific Coast League pitching, batting .348 with a .944 OPS, 11 home runs, 20 doubles, and 76 RBIs in 69 games for AAA Las Vegas. He's had a fair amount of success in the big leagues as a career .274 hitter with 29 home runs, 61 doubles, and 165 RBIs in parts of 3 seasons with the Nationals from 2022 to 2024. With first base occupied by Nick Kurtz and the A's outfield already crowded, Meneses is likely to see most of his time as the designated hitter, as he did in Sunday's starting lineup, making an immediate impact with an RBI single on the first pitch he saw from Angel starter Reed Detmers. His arrival is less an indictment on Williams, who had .289 with 5 doubles and a home run in 23 games for the A's after he was acquired from the Pirates on May 16th, and perhaps of an indication that Brent Rooker, who has been on the 10-day injured list since June 9th and remains very limited in terms of baseball activity, could be out a little longer than the club originally hoped. Should Rooker's injury linger, Meneses fits a similar profile to replace him as a slugging right-handed hitter and should get plenty of at-bats with the A's set to face a good number of left-handed starters over the next 2 weeks. So looking forward to seeing the contributions that Krook and Meneses make at the major league level. As for one of the corresponding moves, we wish Scott Barlow the best of luck. I'm sure that he will find another home in the major leagues. But on the other side, in terms of injury outlook, Luis Severino was transferred to the 60-day injured list from the 15-day injured list. The move is procedural but carries significant implications for the team's roster management and Severino's timeline for return. Severino originally landed on the injured list on May 30th after suffering a right shoulder capsule and subscapularis muscle strain during a start against the Yankees. He subsequently received a PRP injection on June 4th. The 60-day designation means he cannot return to Major League action until late July 2026 at the earliest. He is scheduled for an official medical evaluation in July, after which he will need several weeks to ramp up his throwing progression and build arm endurance. The transaction was part of a larger roster shakeup, as we had mentioned, with Meneses and Krook getting called up, freeing up a needed spot on the 40-man roster. Before his injury, Severino posted a .423 ERA and a 2-5 record over 12 starts on the year thus far. So get well soon to our ace, Luis Severino. That is a big blow that we're not going to have him on the mound for quite some time. The earliest he can come back is late July, but don't be surprised if you don't see him probably till the middle of August, I would say at this point. If he is going to get evaluated early July and all is good for him to resume activity, my guess would be he would need the majority, if not the rest of the month to ramp up. Then early August, he would start making his rehab starts, targeting him to an August 15th or later return, in my personal opinion, unless he heals at a more rapid pace. But get well soon. More than likely, if the A's stay in the fight, which it does look like, that no one's going to run away with this AL West division, perhaps the A's will go out there and add some veteran stability out there on the open market leading up to the August 3rd trade deadline, adding to their rotation. Time will tell there. Get well soon to our ace, Luis Severino. Let's get now on to the A's next opponent before we get on out of here, preparing for the A's game later this evening. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by the Holiday Inn Sacramento Downtown Arena. Stay in the heart of downtown at Holiday Inn Sacramento Downtown Arena, ideally located near Old Sacramento Waterfront, Golden One Center, and Downtown Commons Doco. Our full-service Sacramento hotel is just 15 minutes from Sacramento International Airport and within walking distance of the California State Capitol and Safe Credit Union Convention Center. Host meetings, conferences, and social events in our flexible boardrooms and ballrooms supported by experienced on-site sales and events teams. Enjoy modern amenities including a rooftop outdoor pool, on-site fitness center, and Cypress Grill restaurant serving breakfast, dinner, and cocktails. Guest rooms and suites feature comfortable workspaces, contemporary amenities, and city views, making them ideal for both short stays and extended visits. Whether you're attending an event, planning a meeting, or exploring Sacramento dining and entertainment and cultural attractions, or of course, taking in an A's game, our downtown location keeps you close to it all. Downtown access, full-service comfort, easy booking. Stay at our downtown Sacramento hotel. All right. Before we get on out of here, let's move on to who the A's new challenge will be starting tonight. Following yesterday's off day, the A's are headed down to San Francisco to take on the Giants for a 3-game set at Oracle Park starting later tonight, 6:45 p.m. first pitch. The Giants come in with a record of 31-46 and are led by manager Tony Vitello. Their last series, they got swept down in Miami in a 3-game series. They lost 4-3, 6-3, and 2-1 on Sunday, which led to some nationally publicized drama. We're in the 9th inning of Sunday's game. Rafael Devers worked a walk to lead off the 9th inning as they are trying to rally to at least tie, if not take the lead in that game. Devers, after reaching first via the walk, is lifted for a pinch runner, Jonah Cox. Devers did not agree with the move. He was waving off the move. He was waving off Cox publicly on the field. With the move being announced, they had to move forward as originally planned. Devers left the field emotionally, visibly frustrated, slammed his helmet in the dugout and went immediately into the clubhouse. It does not seem like times are good in San Francisco land currently. The A's should be able to take advantage of that. As an offense, the Giants, and these are all major league rankings, as a team, they're hitting .257 as a batting average, which is second in baseball. They've hit 81 home runs, which is 20th. They've scored 317 runs, which is 23rd. They've walked 183 times, which is the least amount. They've struck out 592 times, which is the 5th least. And they've hit to a .727 OPS, which is 14th. On the mound, they have pitched it to a .446 ERA, which is 22nd. They've walked 295 batters, which is tied for 25th. They've struck out 608, which is 22nd, and they've pitched to a .139 whip, which is 23rd. And defensively, they've been one of the worst units in baseball. They have fielded it at a .981 fielding percentage, which is 28th, and they've committed 52 errors, which is 29th. Here's how the Giants project in terms of their most consistent starting lineup. They're led off at second base by Luis Severino. Batting second, the designated hitter, Bryce Eldridge. Batting third, the left fielder, Casey Schmidt. Batting fourth, the first baseman, Rafael Devers. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Jung-Hoo Lee. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Willy Adames. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Matt Chapman. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Drew Gilbert. And batting ninth, the former A catcher, Daniel Susac. Now, let's take a look at the game times and starting pitching matchups so you know when you can tune in to the A's-Giants series. So first pitch in the Battle of the Bay continuing is tonight, 6:45 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Savali will be getting the ball for the A's going up against Robbie Ray. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, Game 2, also a 6:45 p.m. first pitch. Gage Jump will be getting the ball for the A's going up against Tyler Mahle. And then on Thursday, Game 3, the rubber match will be a day game at Oracle Park, a 12:45 p.m. Pacific time first pitch. Jeffrey Springs will be getting the ball for the A's going up against Landon Rupp. Now, let's get to know these Giants starting pitchers that the A's will be going up against. So Game 1 starter is left-handed pitcher Robbie Ray. On the year thus far, he has pitched in 15 games, 14 of those being starts. 5-6 record with a .407 ERA. In 79 2/3 innings pitched, he's walked 38, struck out 74, and has pitched to a .133 whip. In his last start, he got the win at Atlanta against the Braves. He went 6 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. His fastball in the air has averaged 93.2 miles an hour thus far. Ray is operating as a standard high-variance mid-rotation left-handed starter for the Giants, mixing elite swing-and-miss stuff with volatile command. The 34-year-old former Cy Young Award winner has a 4.07 ERA across 79 and two-thirds innings pitched. Because the Giants are struggling and Ray's in the final year of his contract, he has surfaced as a major trade deadline chip for contenders looking to bolster their rotations. Ray's approach remains aggressive, heavily relying on a power lefty baseline that prioritizes vertical attack angles and high-intent tunneling. His four-seam fastball, which he uses 45% of the time, sits at 93.3 to 94 miles an hour. It features above-average spin that gives a deceptive ride at the top of the zone. His slider, which he uses 35%, sits at 86 to 88. It serves as his primary put-away pitch against both lefties and righties. His sinker, changeup, curveball, which combined usage is around 20%. Ray has recently adjusted his profile by drastically increasing his 91 to 92 mile an hour sinker usage to generate weak contact and combat his home run issues. He sprinkles in an 86 mile an hour changeup and an 80 mile an hour knuckle curve against right-handed hitters. And his whiff rate of 24.7%, though lower than his peak Cy Young days, his slider still generates an elite missing bat profile when buried down and in. His walk rate, with his command remaining his primary bottleneck, his 61.1% strike rate indicates that when he loses his release point, he misses completely out of the zone, falling into deep counts, leading to that elevated 11.4% walk rate. Ray does remain highly susceptible to high fly ball contact. He has allowed 14 home runs in 79.2 frames, meaning mistakes over the heart of the plate frequently leaving the park. Ray's current value is rebounding after a brutal mid-May stretch that included a 10-run shellacking by Arizona and a minor leg injury from a comebacker. Over a 5-start stretch, his ERA spiked past 7. However, his stock soared following a dominant performance on June 17th against the Braves, pitching in a unique long relief role after a rain suspension. Ray would end on to hurl those 6 1/3 scoreless innings. Scouts view Ray as a quintessential rental arm and a high upside number 4 starter for a playoff contender. Teams like the Phillies and the Blue Jays have been heavily linked to him in market rumors. While his contract of $25 million is steep, his expiring deal makes him easy to move as San Francisco eats salary. His value rests on his proven veteran poise and ability to deliver elite single-game strikeout upside when his control is clicking. Now, let's talk about Game 2 starter, right-handed pitcher Tyler Mahle. On the year thus far, he's made 11 starts, going 1-7 with a 6.04 ERA. In 56 2/3 innings, he's walked 24 batters, struck out 57, and has pitched to a 1.54 whip. In his last start, he lost against the Arizona Diamondbacks back on May 26th. Since Mahle has been on the injured list. He went 5 innings in that one, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 3 Ks. His fastball in the air has averaged 92.2 miles an hour. After spending nearly a month on the 15-day injured list due to a left hamstring strain suffered in late May, Tyler Mahle has completed a rehab assignment and is set to rejoin the Giants' starting rotation tomorrow night against the A's. Mahle utilizes a 4-pitch mix, though he operates primarily as a 2-pitch starter. He maintains identical arm speed across his entire arsenal, masking his off-speed pitch as well. His 4-seam fastball tops out around 95 but sits at 91 to 93, features slight arm side run, and is most effective when located high in the strike zone. His splitter serves as his primary secondary offering, sitting around 85 miles an hour. It features arm side fade, but has generated fewer swings and misses this season compared to league average. His cutter slider is used the combined 20% of the time. His 88 miles an hour cutter acts as a regulatory pitch with minimal cutting action. His 84 mile an hour slider is a developmental chase pitch deployed down and away to right-handed hitters, yielding heavy ground ball tendencies. Through 11 Major League starts this year, Mahle has heavily struggled to prevent runs. His profile shows a durable fly ball bias due to his elevated fastball approach, which occasionally leaves him susceptible to home runs. Mahle thrives in clean frames when he can establish pitch rhythms. Opposing teams look to apply early pressure via base runners, as his overall command and mechanics frequently break down out of the stretch. Because Mahle relies on pounding the strike zone to get ahead early, hitters are scouted to target his first pitch fastballs before he can establish his secondary stuff like his splitter. In his lone AAA rehab start on June 16th, Mahle struggled with control, walking 5 batters over 3 innings while throwing 63 pitches. Expect a strict pitch count of 75 to 80 pitches tomorrow night during his initial return from the injured list. With the August trade deadline looming, The Giants are highly motivated to showcase a healthy Mahle in rotation openings to optimize his value as a potential trade piece. And then Game 3 starter who'll be getting the ball for the Giants on Thursday, Landon Rupp, a right-handed pitcher, will probably be the toughest customer the A's go up against in this series. He's made 15 starts on the year thus far, going 5-7 with a 4.15 ERA. In 80 and a third innings pitched, he's walked 33 batters, 89 strikeouts, and pitching to a 1.29 whip. In his last start, he lost at Miami, but not because of him. He went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks. His fastball in the year thus far has averaged 93.3 miles an hour. Rupp is operating as a core member of the San Francisco Giants starting rotation. After earning the 5th starter spot out of spring training, his performance has cemented him as a dependable Major League rotation asset. Rupp relies on a distinct heavy movement profile rather than pure velocity, maximizing ground balls and limiting hard contact. His sinker is his primary pitch, features excellent sinking action and tailing life to generate high ground ball rates. His curveball is his signature elite weapon, spinning at a monstrous 3,000 plus RPM with heavy two-plane break and exceptional depth. His changeup, his primary tool against left-handed hitters, it features an improved velocity gap from his fastball and drops sharply to generate swing and miss depth. His cutter serves as a useful horizontal bridge to keep hitters off his vertical movement, and his four-seam fastball, which is rarely integrated into his current approach, but he does show it every now and again. Rupp excels at suppressing barrels and keeping the ball on the ground. His elite vertical drop across his repertoire make it highly difficult for hitters to elevate his pitches. While he generates a steady 10 K per 9 ratio, his walk rate hovers slightly over 10%. He doesn't throw a high volume of standard zone strikes, relying heavily on hitters chasing his movement outside the strike zone. Rupp has proven he can work deep into games, collecting 6 quality starts through mid-June. However, he has shown recent performance variance, carrying a 4.15 ERA and a 1.29 whip over 15 starts due to a tougher stretch since May. Now let's take a look at how the A's hitters have fared in their history against these Giants starters. Against Ray, these are just some players to know. Butler is 2 for 3 lifetime with a home run. Langoliers is 2 for 4 lifetime with a home run as well. And Joey Meneses is 1 for 3 lifetime with a home run. Against Tyler, Mahle was not able to view the past history at the current moment as he was still on the injured list, so wasn't available on Baseball Savant. But Mahle's last start, the A's won 5-2. He went 5 innings in that one, allowed 10 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. Kurtz did homer in that game off Mahle. The A's certainly seemed to get some success off of him in that one. And then against Landon Rupp, lifetime Lawrence Butler is 1 for 1 with a double and 2 walks. Tyler Soderstrom is 1 for 3 with a double, and Jeff McNeil is 1 for 1. The A's and Giants have faced off head-to-head one time this year. Earlier, back in May 15th to the 17th, up in West Sacramento. The Giants won that series 2 out of 3. The A's took Game 1 5-2 before the Giants rallied back to take the final 2 to take the series 2 out of 3 by winning 6-4 and 10-1. Here are some Giants players to keep an eye on as you watch this series starting tonight. Giants left fielder Casey Schmidt is hitting .296 on the year with 16 home runs, 42 RBIs, and hitting it at .855 OPS. Second baseman Luis Severino is having another strong season. He's batting .320 with 3 home runs, 30 RBIs, hitting it an .801 OPS, leading the team with 95 hits. Jung-Hoo Lee, the right fielder, is hitting .327 with 4 home runs, 26 RBIs, and an .816 OPS. Now, let's make some predictions. Let's keep our A's Day home run prediction rolling. For this series, we are going to select left fielder Tyler Soderstrom to hit at least 1 home run in this 3-game set. We really love the way he's been swinging it and think he is going to pop at least 1 in these 3 games. And as for our series prediction, we are going to take the A's to win 2 out of 3 in this one. We do feel like with where the Giants are currently, the A's could have an opportunity to sweep all 3, but it is hard to sweep anybody and doing it on the road. So conservatively, we are going to take the A's to win the series, but taking 2 out of 3. We think they're going to win tonight 5-1. We think they're going to win tomorrow 7-2 before losing a tight one for Thursday's rubber match 5-4. So enjoy a rivalry renewed. A's Giants first pitch set to kick off tonight, 6:45 p.m. from Oracle Park. Should be a good one. Aaron Savali getting the ball for the A's going up against Robbie Ray for the San Francisco Giants. Hope you are able to enjoy all of the baseball action at one of the league's most beautiful and picturesque stadiums. And with that brings us to the close of another edition of A's Day. We appreciate you stopping by to kick off your week with us and hear our thoughts on athletics baseball. We will be back behind the mic for Friday's show to recap what goes down in this 3-game series against the Giants, any other A's news between today and Friday's show, as well as previewing a familiar foe. As last weekend, the Angels traveled up to West Sacramento to take on the A's. Now the A's will be traveling down to Anaheim to take on the Angels. We will be sure to be here for Friday's show to preview it all. That's all I have for you today for our newest edition of A's Day. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Enjoy all the A's baseball this week. Hopefully, they take care of business on the road. They should take care of business against the Giants. This is a stretch in the schedule. The A's need to go out there and rack up some victories if they want to stay in the good fight for the American League West. Take care, everyone. We'll see you right here, same spot, same time, for our Friday show. And until then, Holy Toledo, let's go A's.